Hello, and welcome to SpeakLoop Podcast. I'm James. Today, we're going to talk about something fun, something many of you love, a weekend trip. We will practice real English you can use when you travel. And yes, we will also practice speaking together. So get comfortable. Let's begin. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you went somewhere new? Maybe to another city? Maybe to the mountains? Maybe just to the beach for one day? Do you remember that feeling? The excitement, the fresh air, the small adventure? That's what a weekend trip gives us. Today, I want to help you talk about your trips in English. Not with difficult words, not with complicated grammar, just simple, natural sentences, the kind of English real people use. And I want you to practice with me, out loud. Yes, speaking, because that's how we grow. You don't need to travel far to practice English. You don't need to go to New York or London. You can take a short trip in your own country, and you can describe it in English. That's already powerful practice. So let's start learning how to do that. First, let's talk about before the trip. What do we say? What do we do? Imagine it's Friday evening. You're planning a short trip for tomorrow. You might say, I'm going on a weekend trip. Repeat after me. I'm going on a weekend trip. Good. Now try this one. I'm leaving early in the morning. Repeat. I'm leaving early in the morning. One more. I want to visit a new place. Repeat. I want to visit a new place. Excellent. These are simple sentences, but they are real. People use them all the time. Now, let me tell you about a weekend trip I took last month. I went to a small town by the sea. It wasn't famous, it wasn't crowded, but it was beautiful. I left my city on Saturday morning. The weather was perfect. The sky was blue. I felt free. When you tell someone about your trip, start simple. Say where you went, say when you left, say how you felt. For example, I went to the coast. I left on Saturday. I felt relaxed. Now you try. Use your own trip. Say it out loud. Maybe you say, I went to the mountains. I left on Friday night. I felt excited. Or maybe, I went to my friend's village. I left early. I felt happy. It doesn't matter where you went. What matters is you practice saying it in English. Good. Now let's talk about the journey. How did you get there? Did you drive? Did you take a bus? A train? Maybe you walked. Let's practice. I traveled by car. Repeat after me. I traveled by car. Now this one. The journey took 2 hours. Repeat. The journey took 2 hours. And one more. The road was beautiful. Repeat. The road was beautiful. Great job. You're building real sentences, sentences you can actually use. On my trip, I traveled by train. I love trains. You can watch the world go by, you can read, you can think. The journey took about 3 hours. I saw fields, I saw small villages, I saw the ocean in the distance. It was peaceful. Now let's talk about arriving. What do you say when you get there? Here are some simple sentences. I arrived in the afternoon. Repeat. I arrived in the afternoon. Try this. The town was quiet. Repeat. The town was quiet. One more. I checked into my hotel. Repeat. I checked into my hotel. Perfect. You see, you don't need fancy words. You just need to say what happened, step by step, sentence by sentence. When I arrived, the first thing I did was walk around. I wanted to see the streets. I wanted to feel the place. There were small shops, there were cafes, there were people sitting outside, talking and laughing. I felt like I was in a movie. Let's practice describing what you see. Use simple words. For example, the streets were clean. Repeat. The streets were clean. Now try, there were many trees. Repeat. There were many trees. And this one, the people were friendly. Repeat. The people were friendly. Good. Description is powerful. It helps you remember. It helps others understand. And it's great practice for your speaking. So when you travel, try to describe things in English, in your mind or out loud. Say what you see. Say what you feel. Now let's talk about activities. What did you do on your trip? Maybe you went to the beach. Maybe you visited a museum. Maybe you ate good food. Let's practice. I went to the beach. Repeat. I went to the beach. Try this. I walked along the water. Repeat. I walked along the water. One more. I took many photos. Repeat. I took many photos. Excellent. You're doing really well. Keep going. On my trip, I did something I love. I woke up early and watched the sunrise. The sky turned pink, then orange, then gold. The sea was so calm. I sat on a bench. I drank coffee. I didn't check my phone. I just watched. It was one of the most peaceful moments of my life. Here's a tip. When you talk about what you did, use past tense. I walked. I visited. I ate. I saw. These are simple past forms. Let's practice a few. I visited a museum. Repeat. I visited a museum. Now this. I ate local food. Repeat. I ate local food. And try this. I saw beautiful views. Repeat. I saw beautiful views. Great! You're using real grammar without even thinking about rules. That's the best way to learn. One of my favorite parts of any trip is the food. I always try something new. On this trip, I ate fresh fish, I ate bread from a small bakery, I drank juice made from local fruit. Everything tasted better because I was relaxed, because I was present. Let's practice talking about food. I tried something new. Repeat. I tried something new. Now say, the food was delicious. Repeat. The food was delicious. One more. I ate at a small restaurant. Repeat. I ate at a small restaurant. You see how easy this is? You don't need to say, the culinary experience was exquisite. No, just say, the food was great, or I loved the meal. Simple, natural, real. In the evening, I walked by the sea again. This time, the sun was setting. The sky was purple and red. There were a few people walking their dogs. Some were sitting on the sand. I felt so calm, so far from my daily stress. Now let's talk about feelings. How did the trip make you feel? This is important. Feelings make your story real. Let's practice. I felt relaxed. Repeat. I felt relaxed. Try this. I felt happy. Repeat. I felt happy. And one more. I felt free. Repeat. I felt free. Beautiful. When you share your feelings, people connect with your story. They understand you better. A weekend trip doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be far. It just has to take you out of your routine. It reminds you that the world is big, that life is more than work and stress, that small adventures matter. And here's something beautiful. You can practice English while you travel. Read the signs, listen to people. Try to order food in English. Even if you're in your own country, you can pretend you're a tourist. It's fun, and it's great practice. Let's practice asking for things. This is useful. Can I have a coffee, please? Repeat. Can I have a coffee, please? Now try, where is the bus station? Repeat. Where is the bus station? One more. How much is this? Repeat. How much is this? Perfect. These are phrases you can use in real life. Practice them now. Use them later. On Sunday morning, I didn't want to leave. But I had to go back. I packed my bag slowly. I checked out of the hotel. I said thank you to the kind lady at the desk. Then I took the train home. The journey back was different. I felt a little sad, but also grateful. Grateful for the break. Grateful for the fresh air. Grateful for the memories. Even a short trip can give you so much. Let's practice talking about going home. I went back on Sunday. Repeat. I went back on Sunday. Try this. I felt a little tired. Repeat. I felt a little tired. And one more. But I felt good. Repeat. But I felt good. Now I want you to do something. Think about your last trip. It can be a big trip or a small one. Maybe just one day somewhere. Close your eyes if you want. Remember that place. What did you see? What did you do? How did you feel? Now open your eyes and try to say 3 sentences in English, out loud, about that trip. Don't worry about mistakes. Just speak. Go ahead. I'll wait. Good. Well done. Even if it was difficult, you did it. That's what matters. Speaking is not about being perfect. It's about trying. It's about using the language. Every time you speak, you get stronger. Now let's practice one more useful structure. I wish I could go back. Repeat. I wish I could go back. Try this. I want to visit again. Repeat. I want to visit again. And one more. Next time, I'll stay longer. Repeat. Next time, I'll stay longer. These sentences show that the trip meant something to you, that it left a mark. And that's the beauty of travel. It changes us, even just a little. So, here's my challenge for you. Plan a small trip. It doesn't have to be this weekend, but soon. Go somewhere, anywhere, and practice describing it in English. Before you go, during, and after. You can write about it. You can record yourself talking about it. You can tell a friend, or you can just practice in your mind. The important thing is to use English in a real situation. That's when learning becomes life. Travel teaches us many things. It teaches us to be open, to be curious, to be present. And when we combine travel with English practice, we learn even more. We learn language. We learn culture. We learn about ourselves. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need to speak perfect English. Just go, explore, speak, make mistakes, laugh, learn. That's how we grow. I still think about that weekend by the sea. I think about the sunrise, the quiet streets, the taste of fresh bread, the sound of the waves. It was simple, but it was enough. And it reminded me that happiness doesn't have to be complicated. Before we finish, let's do one final practice. I'm going to say a few sentences about a trip, and I want you to repeat them. Ready? I went on a weekend trip. Repeat. I traveled by train. Repeat. I arrived in the afternoon. Repeat. The place was beautiful. Repeat. I walked around and took photos. Repeat. I ate delicious food. Repeat. I felt so relaxed. Repeat. I want to go back soon. Repeat. Excellent work. You just told a whole story in English. You used past tense. You used feelings. You used real vocabulary. That's amazing progress. So here's what I want you to remember. A weekend trip is not just a break. It's a chance to see the world differently. And if you practice English during that trip, it becomes even more meaningful. You learn, you grow, you enjoy. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for practicing with me. I hope this episode inspired you to travel, and I hope it gave you the tools to talk about your trips in English. Keep practicing, keep speaking, keep going. This is SpeakLoop Podcast. I'm James. See you next time. Safe travels and happy learning.